All right, everybody, welcome back for another deep dive. You ever get that, awful sinking feeling when you can't find your keys?
Huh.
Or like that oh no moment when you can't remember where you parked?
Oh, yeah, tell me about it.
Well, today we are looking into something that might just help us all out. It's the GeoTag Go.
Okay.
It's a Bluetooth tracker, and it's causing a bit of a stir in the tech world, and we're going to break it all down for you. We've got a transcript from a tech podcast episode that goes into what makes this thing special, how it measures up to the other trackers out there, and yeah, whether or not it's worth your hard-earned cash.
I am ready to dive in.
Me too. Let's
Yeah.
do it. Okay, so first things first, this Geotag Go. It's not just some random Bluetooth tracker popping up.
Right.
It's made by Jio, which is this huge telecom company in India, and they've kind of got a reputation for shaking things up.
Yeah, they're not afraid to disrupt the market.
Exactly. And they're doing this really interesting thing with this tracker. They're tying it in with Android's Find My Device network.
Ooh, now that is interesting because that means it's not just relying on other geo users to help find your stuff.
Right. It's tapping into this massive network of millions of Android devices. So think about it. Let's say you leave your bag at a coffee shop.
Happens all the time.
Seriously, if you're even blocks away and some random person with an Android phone walks by their phone could anonymously ping your geotag Go's location back to you.
That is pretty slick and especially useful in places where there are a lot of people.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And then on top of that, did I mention the price?
Okay, lay it on me.
This thing is going for about 18 bucks.
What?
18 US dollars.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy. It's like less than a movie ticket.
Wow, Geo's not messing around. They're going for mass appeal with this one.
Big time. Okay, so we've got affordable, we've got potentially wider reach than the competition, and it's tiny, so you can clip it on anything, keys, wallet, bag, even your pet's collar if you're feeling adventurous. But how well does this thing actually work? Our source mentioned it was a pretty simple setup process and that you track everything through the Find My Device app.
So you're telling me I don't need a separate app for this thing?
Nope. Seems like it's all integrated, which is nice.
That is convenient.
Right. No app overload. Okay, so you pair the geotag, go with your phone like you would with any Bluetooth headphones or whatever, and once it's paired, you can see its last known location on a map. And if you think it's nearby, but just can't see it, you can make the tag ring so you can hear it.
That's pretty standard for these kinds of trackers.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
And then, of course, you've got that crowdsourced tracking if it's out of your Bluetooth range.
Handy.
For sure. So it seems like it checks all the boxes for the basics. But how does it compare to the big names out there, like the Apple AirTag or Tile? Those brands are pretty well known, but are they starting to sweat a little with this new kid on the block?
Well, that's where things get interesting. Apple and Tile, they've definitely got that name recognition. But Jio is bringing some serious advantages to the table.
Yeah, like what?
Well, first off, that whole Android integration thing, that gives them a potentially much bigger network, especially in parts of the world where Android is king.
Good point. And then there's the price.
Oh, yeah, can't forget about that. That aggressive pricing strategy could definitely light a fire under the bigger companies.
Yeah.
Maybe force them to rethink their own pricing.
So are we talking like the start of a Bluetooth tracker price war?
It's possible, and you know who wins in a price war?
The consumers.
Exactly. We've seen Jio disrupt markets before. Like, they totally shook up the telecom scene in India. Their whole thing was crazy affordable prices, and it forced the other companies to adapt. And in the end, it was the people who got better deals.
Yeah, that's a win for everybody except maybe the big telecom companies.
Right. So it wouldn't be surprising to see them try to do the same thing with the GeoTag Go, shake up the whole Bluetooth tracker market, not just in India, but globally.
That would be a pretty big deal.
For sure. And speaking of going global, our source mentioned that right now the GeoTag Go is only launching in India. So the big question is, will it go international?
Yeah. Is this something that people outside of India should be keeping an eye on?
Well, there's been no official word yet. But honestly, knowing Jio and their track record, I wouldn't be shocked if they had global plans. Imagine if this thing becomes as common as like a tile tracker.
Yeah, that would be a game changer.
Totally. Suddenly you have this new player with a potentially huge network because of that Android integration. And they're offering a product that's super affordable.
It would definitely shake things up in the Bluetooth tracker world.
Yeah, it's a story worth following. And it brings up some big questions, like could Jio actually become the top dog in the global Bluetooth tracker market? How are the big companies like Apple and Tile going to react to this new competition? Will we see a wave of new and even cheaper tracking devices because of this?
Lots of questions and hopefully some answers down the line.
We'll have to wait and see. It really makes you think, doesn't it? This tiny little thing could have some big ripple effects. But let's zoom back in a bit and focus on like the average person using this thing, day to day. What's it actually like to use the Geotag Go?
Right. Well, according to our source, some of the key features are you can see where your stuff is on a map. Makes sense, right?
Yeah, the basics.
Uh-huh. And if it's close by, but you just can't see it for whatever reason, you can make the tag ring so you can find it by sound.
Super helpful.
Totally. And then there's that crowdsourced tracking we talked about. That could be a real lifesaver for those of us who, well, let's just say we misplace things from time to time.
Oh, yeah, I know a few people like that.
Don't we all? I mean, think about it. A parent could put one of these on their kid's backpack.
Oh, smart.
Right. Peace of mind, knowing they can check in on their kid's location after school. Or on a field trip.
Yeah, that's a good use case. What about for like a busy professional? Always running around.
Oh, yeah, totally. Imagine having one of these on your briefcase.
Yeah.
Never lose track of those important documents again.
Saves you a lot of stress and probably some frantic searching, too.
Oh, yeah. I've been there. Tearing my apartment apart looking for my phone. It's not a good feeling.
Nope, not at all.
So this thing could really help avoid those moments.
Okay.
Okay, but I do have a question about the whole Find My Device network thing. It seems like a brilliant way to extend that tracking range. But are there any drawbacks to relying on a network like that? You know what I mean?
That's a really good point. You're bringing up something important. Like, what happens if the Find My Device network goes down?
Right, or if there's a technical glitch.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That crowdsourced tracking wouldn't be so reliable. Then it's always good to think about the limitations of any technology.
Totally. No system is perfect. It's smart to have a backup plan just in case. And speaking of potential downsides, we've got to talk about the elephant in the room, privacy.
Yes. Always a concern when you're dealing with something that tracks location.
Right. So while the Find My Device network is designed to protect privacy, the data is supposed to be anonymous and all that, there are still some things to think about. Theoretically, someone can slip a geotag, go into your bag or your car without you knowing.
Ooh, yeah. Not good.
Right. And then they could potentially track your movements.
That's definitely something to be aware of.
It's a good reminder to be careful about who has access to your stuff, and to remember that any kind of tracking device, no matter how helpful it's supposed to be, could be misused.
Absolutely. Technology is a tool, and like any tool, it can be used for good or for bad.
Well said. Okay, so we've talked features, we've talked potential market disruption, we've talked privacy, but the big question is this thing actually worth it?
The million-dollar question.
Right. Should our listeners be running out to get one of these?
Well, it depends. What are their needs? What are they looking for? If you're someone who's constantly losing things, or you just like the idea of knowing exactly where your valuables are, then yeah, the Geotag Go seems like a pretty good deal.
Especially at that price.
Come on, less than $20. It's hard to argue with that, especially when you think about how much it costs to replace lost keys or a wallet.
True, that bows. But what about people who don't live in India? Is it worth waiting to see if it gets released internationally?
That's a tough one. It really comes down to how badly you need a Bluetooth tracker right now, and how comfortable you are with maybe waiting a while. There could be a long wait, who knows?
Right. There are definitely other options out
There
there,
are plenty of Bluetooth trackers to choose from.
but none that have that exact combo of affordability, that big network reach, and the potential to really shake things up in the market.
That's what makes this whole Geotag Go thing so interesting. It's
Yeah.
not just a gadget. It's like a sneak peek into the future of tech. You know how everyday problems can be solved with tech that's actually affordable?
It's like convenience for everyone.
Exactly. You don't have to be rich to benefit from these cool new innovations.
I like that. Convenience for everyone. Okay, so as tech keeps evolving, are we going to see even more of these everyday problems getting solved with clever little gadgets?
I think so. It's exciting to think about what other things could be improved or simplified with a little bit of tech magic.
Ooh, I'm already imagining a device that folds my laundry.
Hey, I'm with you on that one. Anything to make laundry day less of a chore.
Right. But seriously, it's pretty awesome to see how technology can make our lives a bit easier, free up some time and energy for the things that really matter.
And that's the best part. These innovations aren't just for the elite anymore. Like we saw with the Geotag Go, even something as basic as a Bluetooth tracker can be made affordable and accessible to everyone.
Yeah, that's a great point. So we've talked about the potential of the Geotag Go, but it's still early days, right?
Yeah, definitely. This technology's still brand new.
There are bound to be some bumps in the road.
Oh, for sure.
Unforeseen challenges.
Exactly. So as consumers, it's up to us to stay informed, ask questions, and make sure these technologies are being developed and used responsibly.
Couldn't agree more. It's easy to get caught up in the excitement of new tech, but we can't lose sight of the bigger picture. You know, we
Mm.
need to think about how these innovations affect our lives, both individually and as a society.
Well said. Okay, so we've gone pretty deep into this Geotag Go thing.
Yeah, we've covered a lot of ground. We've looked at the features, the potential market impact, the whole privacy thing. Hopefully our listeners have a much better understanding of this little gadget now.
I hope so too. But you know what's more important than that?
What's that?
I hope we've sparked their curiosity, got them thinking about the role of technology in their own lives.
That's a great goal.
Yeah.
So to wrap things up, I want to leave our listeners with one final thought. Keep an eye out for those everyday problems that could be solved with a little bit of creative tech.
Yeah, be curious.
Who knows? Maybe you'll be the one to come up with the next big idea that changes the world.
And remember, sometimes the simplest solutions are the most powerful. The Geotag Go is a great example of that. A tiny device with a big goal. Make our lives less stressful and more enjoyable. What other awesome ideas are out there just waiting to be discovered?
That's what's so exciting about all of this. The future of technology is wide open, and it's up to all of us to shape that future in a way that benefits everyone. So keep exploring, keep innovating, and keep diving deep into the world of tech. You never know what you might find. So we've covered like a ton about this Geotag Go and all the like bigger trends it represents.
Yeah, for sure. It really gets you thinking about what other everyday problems could be solved with some smart, affordable tech.
Right. We started talking about, the whole losing your keys thing, but like what other annoying little things in life could tech help us with?
Ooh, so many possibilities. I mean, think about it. We've already got those smart home devices that can do things like, adjust the thermostat or turn on the lights. But what if it went even further? Like a device that could water your plants automatically, based on how much water each plant actually needs.
Ooh, that would be amazing.
Right. Or like a smart fridge that tells you when you're running low on groceries and maybe even helps you make a shopping list.
Okay, you're reading my mind. That's my dream home right there.
Mm,
No more dead plants. Yeah. No more emergency trips to the store.
exactly. Life made simpler.
It's pretty cool to think about how technology can, help us out with all this stuff and free up our time and energy for things that actually matter.
Totally. And what's really great is that this kind of innovation isn't just for rich people or, tech wizards. Like we saw with the Geotag Go, something as simple as a Bluetooth tracker can be made affordable for pretty much everyone.
Yeah, and that's something I really like about this whole trend. It's like democratizing convenience, making life a little bit easier and a little bit more fun for everybody.
Exactly. It's not about, having the flashiest, most expensive gadgets. It's about using technology to solve real problems and in a way that makes sense for everyone.
Right, it should be practical and it should be affordable.
Totally. And I think we're going to see more and more of that in the coming years.
Yeah.
As tech keeps getting better and better, we'll see even more creative solutions coming from all over the world.
It's like a global brainstorm. People everywhere coming up with ways to make our lives just a little bit better.
I love that idea, a global brainstorm, because it reminds us that even though the world can feel, kind of complicated and overwhelming, there's still so much room for creativity and for working together.
Absolutely. So as we wrap up our deep dive into this Geotag Go, I want to leave our listeners with one last thought. Be on the lookout for those little everyday problems that could be solved as a little bit of tech. You never know. You might come up with the next big thing.
And never underestimate the power of a simple solution. Sometimes the things that have the biggest impact are the ones that address those really basic human needs. The Geotag Go is a perfect example. A tiny device with a big goal. Make life a little less stressful and a little more enjoyable. Who knows what other amazing ideas are out there just waiting to be discovered?
That's the best part. The future is wide open, and it's up to all of us to shape it in a way that works for everyone. So keep exploring, keep innovating, and keep diving deep into the world of technology. You never know what you might find.